Hello and welcome back. Chapter 16. This is going to be on cash receipts, journals, and we're going to look at how you post from the cash receipts journal, which is going to save you a considerable amount of time compared to doing it from the general journal, as well as total proving and ruling the journal, just like we did with the sales journal. You're going to see a lot of similarities there. So the first thing we need to do is, again, we've got this accounts receivable column, and when we were in the general journal, you had to post twice, and this is going to be the same thing here. Individually, you're going to post typically on a daily basis, sometimes weekly basis if it's a small company, individually to the subsidiary ledger. So that's what we're going to do first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to look at Paul Drake, and on the 2nd of May, what I'm going to do is I am going to credit this time his account $400. So you need to go into your subsidiary ledger, and we're going to look for Paul Drake, and you can see that I have this posted for you already. So you need to type in the 2nd. Your posting reference this time is going to be CR for cash receipts. So now you have a third journal. We have the general journal, the sales journal, and the cash receipts journal, and you need to indicate which one the information is coming from. So this is going to be CR page 7, and then you're going to click on your credit, hit equals, go back to your cash receipts journal, click on that 400, go back to your ledger and hit enter. Okay, and the 400 shows up there. We are in accounts receivable, and this is a credit, so it's going to decrease the account. So let me show you again how to do a debit balance, although you probably know, but we'll do it again. Type equals. You're going to click on the 800 above, plus a debit minus a credit, and hit enter. Okay, and that gives you 400. So any other debit balances that you have in any of these accounts you're going to post to, you can simply copy and paste that if you want. So let's get rid of this highlight. And we'll say no fill. And again, we're in a subsidiary ledger, so that means that we have to go back to cash receipts. And in posting reference, to indicate that we posted to Paul's individual account, we need to put a check mark in there. So you're going to do the same thing as before. Go to Insert, Symbol, click on your recently used symbols, the check mark, Insert, Close. Okay, now as we continue down through the list, you're going to do the same thing. So what I want you to do now is just look at this column only. Like this one right here, this is blank. So skip it. Don't worry about what's in other columns. We're just focusing on this column vertically. So you're going to post the 3,000, the 2,500, the 150, and the 100. So go ahead, hit pause, and come back, and we'll talk about the next thing that you need to post. Okay, here we are. Accounts receivable subsidiary ledger has been posted. And if you look at my posting reference column, you will see check marks for each of my accounts receivables that go into the subsidiary ledger. Now remember, we have not posted anything from here into the general ledger accounts receivable, the controlling account yet. So the next thing we're going to do is we're now going to look at this general credit column. And again, I'm going to highlight that for you so you know which one we're talking about. Your general credit column, along with accounts receivable, needs to be posted individually. In this particular problem, we only have one thing in the general credit column, which is $50. And that account is store equipment. So what we're going to do is we're going to post this $50 credit to your store equipment account in the general ledger. So we're going to go to the general ledger, and we're going to look for store equipment. Okay, there is a previous balance in there, and the date is the 7th. It is still CR7, and we said it was a credit, so we're going to tab over to the credit column, equals, go back to your cash receipts journal, click on that 50 and hit enter. And we're going to now go to the debit balance. So we're going to put a formula in there. So we'll do the equals, click on the 3,000 plus a debit minus the credit and hit enter. Okay, so we've reduced the account. We haven't switched balance columns. We've just reduced the account to 2,950. Store equipment does have an account number because we're in the general ledger. So we're going to go back to the cash receipts journal. And in the posting reference column, we're going to type the account number in there, which is 150. Now, the next thing I want you to do, so we're done with this column. If there would be other things in here, we would have to post those individually as well. Now, what I'd like you to do is look at cash sales and bank card sales. These do not get posted individually. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put two dashes in there. And it's not letting me, so let's try space dash dash. And then we're going to do the same thing again, space dash dash, because that does not get posted. Here's a check mark that I did not have. And I'm just going to copy these and paste them into there. So the reason these don't get posted individually is because they're going to get posted as a total from this sales column. So just to save you a little time and effort, we're not going to do that. Okay, all right. So the next thing we're going to do is we are now at the end of the month and we are ready to total proven rule. So we're going to do that on the last day of May, which is the 31st. Document number, nothing's going in there because it's not a journal entry. We're going to type the word totals again. So this is all going to look very similar to what we did when we were in the sales journal. And we're going to highlight the last number in this column. We're going to put a thick bottom border there. And then we're going to auto sum each column. Now, if you're going to do this, you need to make sure you're up at the very top line that was used. And I am going to try and get that copy guy and go straight across. Okay, there's our totals. So we've done the totals. The next thing to do is prove. So over here on the right-hand side, just like before, I'm going to type debits. Use a different colored ink just so or font just so you can see it. And credits. Now you've got a lot more this time. So we have all these accounts with, or these columns with credits, and you have two with debits. So under my debit, I'm going to type equals, click on the 135 and hit enter. Then I'm going to type equals again. I'm going to click on the cash debit column, hit enter. Now we're going to go over the credits. Equals, click on the $50, enter. Equals, sales credit total, enter. Equals, sales tax payable credit, enter. And equals, accounts receivable credit, and enter. These two we already did, so we don't need to do those again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to total up these two columns to prove that our debits equal our credits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to single rule. Underneath, I'm going to do an auto sum again. And I'm just going to drag that across. And our numbers do equal. So since they are equal, we can indicate that by doing a double rule. And we can do the same thing here. We can put a double rule under all 6 of those. Okay, now the next thing I want you to do, and this is going to be just like the last problem, or the last one that we did in the sales journal, you're going to highlight all of those cells underneath your double rule, and you're going to do two things. You're going to tell it to center up here, and you're going to make sure that your number is on text. Okay? Now, this column right here, the total never gets posted. So because of that, what we're going to do is we're going to put a check mark in parentheses just to make it known that nothing is going to happen to that because it was already posted once up here. You don't want to post it again or it's going to double it. So you're going to type parenthesis. Oh, shoot. So it's parenthesis. Get rid of this guy. And then we're going to do insert, symbol, grab your check mark again, and close. And then you're going to do close parenthesis. Okay? So whenever you see that, that indicates that you are not posting anywhere. But, oh, darn it. But that, let me get my things right here. But that it already has been posted up here. Okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work left to right. We're going to go to the sales account in your general ledger. And we are going to look for sales. Which is right here. So I'm going to type the 31st. It's CR7. And sales was a credit, so I'm going to hit equals. We're going to go back to the cash receipts journal, and instead of having to post all of these individually, we're just going to post the one total because you're going to have the same effect. And hit enter. Okay, now this time we've got a credit balance. So I'll show you how to do the credit formula again. So it's equals. Click on your previous balance, 40,000, minus a debit plus a credit, and hit enter. This is account number 401. So you're going to go back to cash receipts and in parentheses type 401. Okay, now for some reason I am not centered. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to hit pause and I want you to go back and I want you to post each one of these totals in the general ledger. When you're finished with that, come back. Okay, so now this is what your cash receipts journal should look like. You should have account numbers in parentheses under each one of these. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the general ledger. And you can go ahead and check your balances here. So if you look, your cash in bank should be $27,530 after you posted the debit. Your accounts receivable should be $750, and we're going to highlight that. Your store equipment, we already did that one. We didn't touch it again. Sales tax payable, the $665 credit is $915 credit balance. Sales is there's our $13,300, which we did. And sales discounts had a debit of $135,000, giving you $1,335. Okay, and real quickly, click on your accounts receivable subsidiary ledger because I didn't get a chance to show you that one. And we start with Adventure River Tours. They now have a zero balance. Paul Drake, like we said before, is $400. Wildwood has a zero balance. Celeste Everett is $250. And Isabel Rodriguez is $100. So there you have it. Everything that you need to know for this chapter 16. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to go and open up problem 16.6, and you are going to work on that for the remainder of the period. And please do me a favor, read all of the instructions, follow the instructions carefully. Any questions, you may ask the substitute. I will be back on Friday to answer any questions you may have. So long, and I'll see you soon.